Shalom. This week's Parashat is a very emotional Torah portion. Yosef reveals himself to his brothers. Says to them, it's okay, don't worry about it. If I came to Egypt, it wasn't your plan, it was God's plan, so I should be there to be able to sustain you. Please, go get father, go get all of your families and everything you have, and come down to Egypt, and I'll take care of you. Just before Yosef sends his brothers away, he tells them one sentence. Al tirgezu badarech. Al tirgezu badarech. Don't get upset. Don't get involved in the path. What does it mean? On your way there, don't get involved. So there's a discussion between the Talmud and the Midrash on how to interpret what Yosef said to his brothers. According to the Talmud of Ta'anit, page 10, he said to the brothers, Al tirgezu badarech, al titasku bidvar halacha. Do not start studying the subject of Jewish law. That is the Talmud. But in the Midrash, it says something else altogether. It says, don't stop your study of Torah. Continue learning Torah while you're on the path. What are they saying? One says you shouldn't stop from learning. The other one said you should not learn. It seems to be the total opposite. Well, actually, the Yefet Torah on the Midrash says no. Both of them are speaking about the same thing. They're just saying it in a different way. In the Talmud, when he said, do not get involved in the study of halakha, he said to them essentially, don't get involved in a deep study of Torah. In the Midrash, when he says to them, study Torah and don't stop studying Torah, he's telling them essentially, don't stop studying Torah. Meaning, don't stop studying. Even superficially, you should have at least Torah that accompanies you in your whole path, in your whole way there. But why in the world did one use one expression and put the emphasis on studying at least superficially, while the other said, do not study in a deep way? To understand this, we have to look in the Shulchan Aruch, in the Code of Jewish Law, where it discusses the laws of travelers. Over there, the Magen Avraham, one of the commentaries on the Shulchan Aruch, says that a person, when he is on the way, when he is traveling, he has to be careful to study Torah. Why? Because not only do we have an obligation to study Torah all the time as Jews, it is something which is important and something which we're commanded to do all the time and every moment we have free. But when a person is traveling, he's in a situation of danger. And in order to be able to have a special protection while he's traveling, he needs to study Torah. So according to the Magen Avraham, there are two obligations when you're traveling. The general obligation of studying Torah and the obligation of studying Torah because you need that special protection. Admur HaZaken, on the other hand, says no. The obligation of studying Torah, whether you're traveling, whether you're at home, it's one obligation. There's no two obligations. And now we can understand the difference between the Talmud and the Midrash. In the Talmud, Yosef HaTzadik, and what is he saying to them? He's saying to them something that has to do with the traveling. I'm going to give you advice about your traveling, so you should have safe travels. Al titasku bidvar halacha. Don't get busy in the study of halacha in depth. Which means, yes, you have an obligation to study Torah, but when you're traveling, take it easy. You might take the wrong path. If you get too involved, you might take the wrong exit or put yourself in a situation that is dangerous. And therefore, it's important to be focused on the traveling. But how do you stay focused on the traveling when you're not so focused in the depth of the study of Torah? On the other hand, in the Midrash, when it says, you should not stop from studying Torah. Why? I'm telling you something that has to do with your traveling. You shouldn't stop your study of Torah because when you're traveling, that's what's going to give you a special protection. the fact that you will continue to study Torah. So according to the Midrash, there's basically two obligations. Comes the Baalei Tosfot. The Tosfot says another explanation altogether. What did Yosef HaTzadik say to them? He said, you're going on the path, you're going to travel now. And you know what you need? You need to study Torah and not stop studying Torah even in depth. It seems to be the opposite of everything we said. What exactly was Yosef HaTzadik saying? He was saying to them that when you study Torah, there are two levels of study. There's a superficial way of studying. You know, you listen to nice speeches, you read Tehillim, you repeat by heart what you've learned. And then there's the depth of the study of Torah. Actually, in the Tehillim, King David says, Ki im betorat Hashem hefzo uvtorato yegi yomam v'layla. It says, a person desires the Torah of God, and in his Torah, he toils day and night. So the Talmud says, what do you mean, the Torah of God in his Torah? The Torah of God is his Torah. It seems to be redundant. So to this, the Talmud answers that there's two levels of Torah. There's the level of Torah where you study the Torah of God, you desire it. And then there's when a person toils in the study of Torah. He goes in the sources. He wants to look. What did the Talmud say? What did it mean? What's a commentary on the Talmud? What are they arguing about? How does that concern me? And what is the practical application of this? When a person goes into the depth of Torah, it becomes his Torah. It becomes his entity. It changes the person that you are to another person, to another degree, to another level of attachment and connection to God. And this is what Yosef HaTzadik was telling them. And this was actually a message to all generations. You're now going to go get Yaakov, and you're going to get all the Jews, and you're going to bring them down to Egypt. You're going to actually start the process of galut, of exile. You're on your way to start a process of exile. What is going to keep you alive? What is going to keep you free? The only thing that can keep a Jew free when he is in exile is the study of Torah in depth. When you study Torah in depth, you are connected to the essence of God. And that essence of God, to quote the Tanya in chapter 5, actually wraps you and grasps you, and you grasp it. It's a level of unity and fusion that doesn't exist in the physical world. And at that moment, it becomes just like food is to the body, the Torah becomes to the soul, becomes food to the soul, and it becomes one with you. At that moment, you're no longer the same person you were before. When you study Torah in depth, you are a changed person. And that's the ultimate protection, that you're so connected to God that the Torah in the path, in this travel towards the day of Mashiach, of the great revelation of Mashiach. But till then, you need a protection. And the ultimate protection is that essence of God that you're connected to by your study in depth. And that's why our sages teach us, if you want to be free, the only free man is a person that studies the Torah in depth. And at the moment that you study the Torah in depth, at that moment, you are truly connected to the essence of God. You're a free person. And that's why Mashiach, one of the signs for Mashiach is somebody which is Hogeh Torah, Maimonides says. Somebody which studied the Torah in depth. To conclude, I'd like to share with you a story. There was a very, very wealthy man in Australia that was once interviewed. And in the interview, they asked him, what do you do? How do you start your day? He said, I start my day, I'm an Orthodox Jew. I pray in the morning, and afterwards I study with my rabbi in depth till 10 a.m. They were shocked. They said, but I don't understand. Don't you have buildings? You have possessions? You have so many businesses. Don't they need you? And he says, look, when I come into the office at 10 a.m., I listen to my messages. 8:30 a.m., it's urgent. Mr. Joe, please call us back. We have a pipe that exploded in one of the buildings and that burst, and there's water coming out. at 9 o'clock. It's an emergency. The water is spreading everywhere. What do? 9:15, I listened to my message. Mr. Joe, everything is all right. Everything is under control. We got the right person to come and fix the problem. We found the source of the problem. So in life, we have a choice. You can live as a person which is enslaved to the world, or a person which decides to put all his effort and toil instead of the material things of this world, decides to put it in his connection with God. When a person does this in the study of Torah, then he is truly a free man. And he truly lives Geula, redemption. So Bezrat Hashem, God should give us the ultimate redemption with the Torah. Amen.